Okay, guys, so today's orientation, the purpose of the orientation today is essentially to show you what Achieve 3000 is, how students navigate Achieve 3000, what kind of results you can expect on Achieve 3000, and just a few things to make you more familiar with the program. So the first thing is to go to the Achieve 3000 website. Now, if you're on your own Chromebook or on the student's Chromebook, there is a folder and it says something like LISM e-learning platforms or LISM e-learning tools. And in there, you will find the icon and the title Achieve 3000. So when you click Achieve 3000, it will bring you to this page over here. And in this page, you will enter your students or your child's or your own username. And it's all there on the sticker on the Chromebook. So there'll be a little sticker on the Chromebook. You can see Achieve 3000 and it has username and password. So you just have to put in the username and password exactly as you see it there. Now, if a student for whatever reason cannot access Achieve 3000 or the username doesn't work or the password doesn't work, then they can contact our IT department, or they can just ask me during our lesson if they can't access it. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward. You take the username from the sticker on the Chromebook, you take the password from the sticker on the Chromebook, and then you click login. So once you log in, this is a student's account. So you can see that it takes us to the student's account over here. I just don't need to say that. So this is the account of one of my students called Noor, and she's in grade 7. And when the student opens it up, they will see a page that looks like this. You can see at the top, it's got some points, activities, career center, and then an article and activity. And if the student was to click left or right, you can see the various articles that are available on the platform. Now, Achieve 3000 is primarily a tool that we use in the school to increase the students' reading ability, and the program has been designed as such to slowly, incrementally increase in difficulty in order to develop your child or your own reading ability. And usually, what we would suggest to students. So, for example, I might give the student the task to go on to Achieve 3000 and read 3 articles and complete the activities, for example. So what would they do? Where would they go? The first thing is to go to this banner over here with the pictures, and they can choose any activity that they want to choose. And the different lessons are of various different lengths and of various different difficulties as far as the student is concerned. And how do you know what the student needs to do? You can see here, this particular one is a 5-step lesson. So that means that this lesson has 5 different parts to it. The 5-step lessons are very good. They include activities such as answering pre-reading questions, vocabulary and stuff like that. So they're really good. But you'll also get simpler ones, simpler activities that are simply article and activity. So this one is a straightforward one. It simply has an article and an activity. So potentially this would take your student or yourself, if you are a student, it would take you a little less time. So if we were to click start on this particular one here, so I click start, so I'm on the student account. When I click start, it opens up straight away with some of the key words, the vocabulary that I need to be able to access in order for me to understand and read this article. So this is Noor, who is quite a high ability student. So the vocab might be a little bit more difficult than other students who are not as high ability. So you can also play the audio like this, for example. I don't think you can hear that on your side, but it plays the word and also the definition. So if that was you, you could play the words, look through the definitions. as I said, this is a two-part plan. So this only has an article and an activity. So the student then reads the article. Again, this is this Lexile of this student is higher or one of the higher students. Therefore, the article is quite long, and you will see that maybe it's more difficult than you would expect, but yours would be according to your own Lexile. So let's say Noor, she reads the article. Okay, she's done with the article. Then she clicks on activity, and it will take her straight to the activity. And in this particular activity, it looks like there's a graph, a Venn diagram. So the student then needs to, this one's already been completed, sorry. That's why it's already completed. But this particular one has a Venn diagram, and it has 8 questions in total. So in total, this has 8 questions, and Noor achieved 88% on this on the first attempt. So that's her. She's done with a day in my wheels. But that only took her 15 minutes, and she wants to do another one. You go back to the home page and you find a new article. So let's try and find one that she hasn't done yet. A 5-step lesson plan. This one starts just today, trying to save plants and animals. And you can see when it was published from the date in the top right corner, Monday, the 5th of October. So we're in the program, we're scrolling through the lessons, we're looking for something new, and Noor has stumbled upon this particular article. So she clicks start this lesson. Now you can see this is a little bit longer in terms of the expectations on the student. The longer and the more difficult the lessons are, the more effect and impact it will have on the student's learning, and the more impact it will have on the students' potential for growth with regard to their Lexile. So you can see here there's a before reading poll. So this is to answer a question. And now if Noor was to write an answer response here and then submit that response would come to the teacher account. That would be there available for me to read and respond to. So it gives an extra dimension for the students to engage with the article. Then, as usual, it goes to the article with the vocabulary, so the student can then look at the vocabulary, read the article. Again, I'll just remind you, I don't want you guys to feel nervous when you see the length and complexity of this article. This is for a student who is very high ability. So this is an article that has been made more difficult because the student is of a higher ability. Once they've read the article, she then goes to the activity. She completes the activity. Again, there's various different types of activities. This is, I've just got a question, which grade is this for? This is for middle school. So this would be for grade 6A, B, 7A, B, and 8A. So if your kid is in kindergarten, definitely you don't need to be here. Yeah, you need to be in the RAS reading, in the RAS reading orientation. Thank you. So, as I said, this is for middle school. If that wasn't already clear, this is for middle school. Only middle school use RAS Reader. There must have been a mistake on the flyer if this has been put. So yeah, like I said, this is for, just click the other link. It'll take you to the RAS Reader one. If anyone here is looking for RAS Reader, you should be on the other link. I think Mr. Shane mixed up the links, so I apologize for that. Just need to click the other one. Thank you very much. Anyway, for those of you still here, middle school. So yeah, so no, she's done the before reading poll. She's read the article. She's done the activity. Then there's an after reading poll. Again, the requirement isn't to have 500-word essay here. Just a short response. Then a thought question. Again, another short response. But ultimately, in order for the student to receive marks, they just need to complete the article and the activity. Everything else is optional. So any article you see, whether it's a 5-part article or it's a 2-part article, you only need to complete the article and the activity for you to either grow or reduce your Lexile score. So that is an important point there. Now, once you've done that, now let's say, for example, the student has completed all of the articles here. They've had a busy week reading articles, and they've managed to get through the 5 articles that are there on the banner. There's actually loads and loads of other articles the student can also access. If they scroll down to the news section, there's lots of articles here, then in fiction, then in strategic lessons, and just in general, the potential for reading on this platform is actually unlimited. There is no limit to the amount of work that she can do, or your child can do. Now, if they were to go to my lessons, using the 3 lines over here, they can see all of the articles that they have access to as of today. So this one started from August the 26th, and it finishes here on the 11th of October. So you've got, you know, a good 2.5 months worth of lessons there available to you. Then, you know, you can scroll through to the next page. Some of these are locked because, you know, they will be published at the time when they need to be published. And then you can see your progress. So you can see over here, for example, for the 14th of September, if Noor was to click on this, she could see that she's completed all of this section. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are completed. However, here on the 3rd part, she's only done half of it so far. So it's a work in progress. So you can see here work submitted, and you can see here work in progress. So you know what you've completed, and you know what needs to be completed going forward. So that's lesson progress. You can also look at activities. So there's various different ways you can look at your own progress. But this, for me, is probably the most useful one, is for you to be able to track what percentage you're getting on the first try of your articles. Now, if you've never done an article, then all of this will be empty. But Noor is a student who does use this platform quite regularly. So you can see here that she's got 88%, 50%, 88%, 88%, so on and so forth. These percentages, the better they are, the more likely they are to increase Noor's Lexile. As her Lexile increases, the difficulty of text that she will read and that she will be given will also increase. So you can see here, this particular one, you can also see whether it was on your Lexile level or whether it was beyond your Lexile level. So you can see here the first one she did where she got 88%, it says here Lexile level. So you know that was for her age grade, for her level that she's currently at. Whereas this one is a stretch activity. So what they'll do is they'll try and push you to work a little bit harder with a little bit more difficulty in the type of article they send you. And you can see naturally, because it was more difficult, the result went down from 88% to 50%. And like that, you can track your own progress using the program. And ultimately, that's what Achieve3000 is. Achieve3000 is a platform that is designed specifically for your student or for yourself if you are a student here, as I said. It's designed for you, for your level. If you've got really, really high level of reading, the articles that you receive will be really high level. If you've got a low or an elementary or an entry level Lexile score, then you will receive, again, articles that are for your level, low level. Now we're pretty much done in terms of what the student needs to know in order for them to access the program. The way that I use this in lessons, for those of you who are students, I think most of you guys are students, maybe a couple of parents. For those of you who are students here, you'll know that we have a dedicated lesson for Achieve and for Exact Path every week. And the expectation is that you complete 40 minutes of work. So that could mean 1 article, or that could mean 5 articles. It all depends on how quick you read and how good you are at getting that information down. But again, 5 articles with poor responses can have a much worse effect than maybe 1 article with a half good response. So definitely the emphasis here is on quality, not on quantity. Another important point here before I take any questions, if you have any, is that in order for your Lexile to increase, in order for your Lexile to improve, so you can see here, I'm not really sure here, there we go. So you can see, you can also track your own Lexile score. That's important. So if you click on this over here, activities, and then it will show you a graph like this, and it shows you that your current, for example, her current Lexile level here is 775. Now that number might not mean much to you at the moment, but I mean, if you want to know what grade level 775 is, or what grade level your particular Lexile is, you can speak to me and I'll let you know that information. But 775 is pretty respectable Lexile level for this stage of the year, early on. I would expect that Lexile to grow perhaps to 800, 850 by the end of the year, maybe even more, depends how much the student uses the program. And then we use these Lexiles as a school to then track your reading ability and your reading progress. So this is one of the main indicators of whether you're making progress in your reading or you're not making progress in your reading. And that is essentially it. Sorry, one more thing. So if you want this to increase now, so you want this to go from 775 to say 800, you need to be achieving a good score, let's say potentially above 70% on the first attempt. So if I go back over here and I go back to my lessons and I show you the lesson activities, you can see here there's a first try and there's a second try. Now the second try, you can see pretty much always has 100% on the second try, because she already knows the questions and she already knows the answers. But the program will not take into account any of the second tries. It will only count the first try in order for it to increase your Lexile level on this graph. But I mean, for you guys, the main thing is just to read the articles and complete the activities, go through as many activities as you can, spend time and try and get as good a score as you can on the first attempt. Are there any questions? I'll open you up to questions. You can write them in the chat or you can raise your hand if there are any questions. Feel free.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Yes, I'm a mother for twins for grade 6. Okay. Just I want to know where I can know that they achieve the target for grade 6, like I said.
Now, it's difficult for you, for the parent to be able to access that information. But I mean, again, I'll say it again. If you want to know if your students, your son and daughter perhaps in grade 6, if they're making progress, then you can look over here. So you can track this yourself. If you were to log into your student's account, for example, today, you could click on activities over here. Yeah. And you can look at this number. So this number over here for this unit is 775. You can see in October it's 775. Once a month or once every 2 weeks, I believe, that number will change or it will stay the same if they're making progress. So what you can do is check again, maybe at the end of October, and say, okay, let's see if that number has increased or if that number's gone down. If that number's gone up, then you know that they're making progress and they're achieving their goals, because ultimately the only goal that I have as an English teacher is that they're making progress. There isn't a number. I don't want them, for example, I would never say to a student, you need to get to 865. That isn't the target. The target is to see progress and not to see regression. So if you were to check it again, as I said, at the end of October, and that number has gone up to say 780, then you know that they've made progress and that they're getting better. But if you check that number and it's gone down, the most probable explanation for a number going down is that the student isn't using the program enough. If they use the program, the chances are it will increase. So that is probably the best indicator or the best way for you to check how they're doing and what their progress is.
So how many times, in your opinion, that they need to have a grade achievement? How many times they have to log in?
Yeah, that's a very good question, actually. I'm glad you asked that question. The program, and we had these meetings with the people who designed this program just at the start of the year. And the way that they explained it to us was, if the student can read, I think they said 4 to 5 articles a week, that would definitely show a strong progression. So let's say, for example, this article over here, the untiming of Ben and Ruby. Now, this might take it's not huge, but it might take 20 minutes to read the article and then complete the activity. So potentially in a 40-minute period, in class, she could do 2 of these articles, but that still leaves her short. She still needs to do 3 more of these articles in her own time for her to show that progress. And Nouri is the kind of student who does do that. So what I would say is, if you really want to encourage your kids to make progress and use this program, I would say try and get them on it 3 times a week outside of class. So in class, we'll use it once for 40 minutes. They could probably read 2 articles in that time. But if you were to encourage them 3 times, in addition to the one they use in school, so maybe you could set a time 3 times after school, on a Monday 30 minutes, on a Tuesday 30 minutes, on a Wednesday 30 minutes, reading on Achieve 3000, that would be really, really beneficial for their progress.
So how many times they can try? You know, what I understand that the first exam, it's the real mark, so
Yes.
they can do it again and again. How many times they can retest?
Good. I'm glad you asked again. They can do every activity twice. So they can, for example, this particular one, they'll go through, they'll read the article, they'll complete the activity, and they get their first score. But their first score is, let's say, for example, 63%, as it says over here. 63% Noor got on her first attempt. Then she had another go. She had a second attempt, and she achieved 88%. So you can see she increased her score. So it will give you an opportunity to do it twice every time. But again, the second time you do it is only for you to see where you went wrong. It isn't to increase your Lexile. It's just for you to see, okay, that's where I made a mistake. Okay, this is probably the answer. And for you to figure it out yourself and try and navigate and get better next time. It's just a little bit more practice.
So how many times he have to, if he have the same mark every time, so when he will go to the next level, how many times he have to,
If, for example, let's say, for example, a student achieves 80% every time. Every time they do the assessment, every time they do an article, they achieve 80%. What will happen is, at the end of the month, this number will go up, as you know. So this might go, they've got 80% all month, and they've done 20 activities that month. It'll go up to 800, for example. Now, when they go up to 800, that is them going to the next level. All of these articles now will go up in difficulty. So it will go up essentially at the end of every month. Once a month, you will see either it goes up or it goes down. If the student is for example, getting less than 50% for all of their activities, then it will go down. And then what will happen is the articles will get easier. Then they'll go back up again. And like that, they might go up and down for a few months until the student figures it out, until the student is confident. Then it will steadily go up. So in answer to your question, I guess the answer is once a month, you will either see an increase or you'll see a decrease. Either they'll go up in level or back in level.
So the English teacher, he will take a mark like after 1 month. He can know the situation of the kids about 1 month.
Exactly. Every month, once a month, the English teacher, so if they're in my class, they're not in my class, your kids are in grade 6 or in Mr. Nigel's class, Mr. Nigel can check the program once a month if he wants to see the progress in Lexile. But Mr. Nigel can check to see how much they're using it. So that's something we can check. So if I was to log into my admin account, the teacher account, I could see, for example, that Noor is using it 5 times this week, but last week she didn't use it at all. So the teacher can see how much they're using it all the time, but they can only see the progress once a month, because that's when the system will calculate all the scores and either send them up or send them down.
So there is no marks like how many times he used it. If the kids he every day he used it, or 3 times or 4 times, but he didn't achieve he reduced, not going up. Like there is a mark for this one, or just at the end of the month where his situation they will give the mark.
I mean, it isn't so much a mark in terms of. The mark is for doing the classwork. So if he was to use it 5 times, he would get credit in terms of he would be recognized for using it. But if there isn't any progress in terms, to be honest, look, if a student is using it 5 times a week, there will be progress. I am absolutely confident.
I'm sure about that also. I'm sure about that, because I saw that it's a good article that they put, and good stories that they can really achieve something.
Oh, definitely. Honestly, in my opinion, and I say this to a lot of parents, that if you want A lot of parents ask me, you know, is there a website, or can you send me some books or some recommendations? Honestly, if your child was to just use this program and answer the questions according to this program, that is the best thing. Outside of, I mean, reading a book is obviously good, but to see that instant impact and see that instant progress, this is a really, really good program. And I recommend it. I really recommend it to all parents to really encourage their kids to use it as much as possible.
There is not something like this for the parents.
Unfortunately, I mean, we don't offer anything for parents. Maybe there are programs. Maybe there
Yeah,
is.
I hope so, because really it's very nice.
It is. It really is. It really is. Okay, so I'm gonna basically, you know, probably stop there unless there are any more questions from any more parents or students regarding
Thank
the
you so much,
program.
Mr. Hamza.
No, thank you very much for your time. And if there are no more questions, I will end it there. If there's anything else outside of the training and you need to know anything, send me a message, send me an email or a message on Class Dojo, and I'll try my best to get back to you all. Thank you very much for your time.